Things have changed in the Prince William Hamilton area. The town patriarch Hamilton Fletcher has been dead for months. Nigel Kent, dean of students for years, has retired and replaced by a man named Phil Curran, a fundraiser for many schools. Coco's estranged father, Johnny Stefani, is rumored to be back in town. Although Johnny Stefani funneled money years ago from Albert Fiore in Boston to buy the Domino Club, which became Club Max, he never was around for Anthony, Coco, and his wife Rita. Albert Fiore, all Boston mobsters, left the Stefanis with a ruined reputation. But in some circles, Johnny Stefani's being a part of La Cosa Nostra was the ultimate badge of honor. Coco never admitted his admiration for his wayward father, but Jones, who knew Coco well, could see the deeper connection. And now Johnny was back in town, and somebody's been shot at Manny's Bowlarama. It's Chet McLaughlin, a quiet professor and accountant from the college. The unknown shooter fled the scene, although Jones, who was at the Bowlarama, swears he heard two distinctly different shots. Coco's fixer Winky was slugged in the jaw just before the shot and did not see anyone by the game room. After the gunfire, the power to the bowling alley went out for several minutes. Prince William police descended on the Bowlarama, and Pinky Harris from the state police has been notified. Bum and Trixie, who worked behind the main desk, wore earbuds and heard nothing. Dulio says the shots came from the game room. Mark Pereira, a punk who was Wanda McLaughlin's boyfriend, was seen in the area, and now Wanda's father, Chet, was clinging to life. Winky saw a Porsche SUV and wrote down the tag number. Confusion and misdirection abounds when Herbert Lane arrives in a jogging suit. Jones becomes belligerent when Hamilton College fundraiser Phil Curran repeatedly calls him. The police and Herbert Lane begin talking about Mark Pereira having owned a .22 caliber gun, when the police order Coco and Jones off the crime scene and retire for the night. Coco, who's been thinking about the crime for 2 hours, escorts Jones into areas below the Bowlarama, and using a criminal perspective and his knowledge of the alley from his youth, comes up with a theory. Jones is uneasy being on the crime scene, and then Coco asks him to go to Boston in the morning and have a conversation with Charlie DePero. Someone place a hit on humble little accountant Chet McLaughlin. Dean Nigel Kent's successor Phil Curran, a fundraising genius hired by the late Hamilton Fletcher, orders Jones around like a puppy dog on the phone, and Jones rebuffs him. On the 22nd floor in Boston, Charlie DePero gives Jones and Coco a warm welcome. Charlie then talks to Coco behind closed doors. Coco's father, mobster Johnny Stefani, is somehow involved in the Bowlarama shooting. Jones is still convinced that he heard two shots. Unfortunately, Bucky Driscoll is the only witness to strangers in the coat room. Coco later reveals that Chet McLaughlin, while working his way through college, had a connection to the underworld. Pinky Harris. Coco and Jones get into a shouting match as Chet McLaughlin is barely alive at Prince William Medical Center. Police are stationed all over PW Medical to protect McLaughlin. Jones thinks it possible that Bum Bumpus from the bowling alley may have been an accessory to Chet's shooting. With Chet McLaughlin's life and the balance from the shooting and potential killers lurking around the hospital, Jones and Frannie are fired upon. The arrogant Phil Curran threatens to have Jones fired for insubordination. PJ Fletcher arrives back in town and berates Phil Curran for harassing Jones. Later, Jones learns Mark Pereira's fingerprints have been lifted at the Bowlarama. And then a bomb explodes at the hospital, killing Chet McLaughlin. Rita Stefani shows up outside and explains that Johnny was with her every night and he's innocent from shooting Chet McLaughlin even though he was at the Bowlarama the night of the shooting. Pereira is now on the hospital surveillance video. For her own safety, Frannie flies to her sister's home in California. PJ sends Jones and Coco to Halton Prep upstate to check on Phil Curran's last job. At the same time, Arnie Doers, Bucky Driscoll, and a gang of Hamilton screwballs are zooming north to celebrate an odd and obscure anniversary that makes no sense. Very quickly, Jones and Coco unravel Phil Curran's ability to scam his employees at Halton Prep. He could fundraise very well, but he diverted scholarship money to himself. Jones thinks Chet McLaughlin may have uncovered Phil Curran's scams. Susan Dexter, who worked at Halton, may have been forced off a rock cliff. Curran was on that hike, and Susan knew bits and pieces of Phil Curran's malfeasance. Coco is concerned that they would be in danger by hanging around Halton. A red pickup truck nearly hits Jones and then disappears. Coco cons a guy named Dave in the maintenance area for information and claims he was sent by Curran. Now Coco is sure someone will be after them. A man named Chester says Phil Curran raised $100,000 for Susan's family. He says an employee named Billy Rawlin was Phil Curran's gopher. As Coco and Jones speed away through the mountains, Coco realizes the brake line has been cut. Coco calls his buddy Ralphie to travel north to fix the brake line, followed by Uncle Dulio in the Beamer. Jones and Coco hurry downstairs when they realize Bucky and Arnie are the source of a disruption at the motel. Dulio then takes on two of the local lumberjacks and destroys Bucky's room. Jones fears Curran is now aware they are closing in. They leave for Hamilton and Prince William, where they face a slew of characters in a life or death situation under incredible circumstances. Bullets fly and people die. And in the end, a catastrophic event from 20 years ago is fully explained on video by local dunderhead Arnie Doers. Johnny's Back in Town by Robert P. Fitton is sold at Amazon and Kindle and paperback, and the audiobooks retails at Audible. All one great big lie. Bernie Madoff.